Hello everyone, my name is Naomi. Welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about a short, quick prepping topic tonight. There's been a lot of talk about food shortages, and I know that there's a lot of people talking about how we should stockpile food. And even I have probably mentioned a time or two that you should make sure that you have a well-stocked pantry in case of disasters and bad things that could happen. Once upon a time, I would have believed that everything was going to continue on and everything was going to be like normal, but you just have to watch the news and look around and listen to realize that nothing is ever going to be the same, and there are some bad things happening and other bad things could happen. So let's just focus on being prepared. Now, stockpiling food is all well and good, but if the grocery store was not an option, how would you replenish that food? Because your stockpile will only last so long. So you need to have a way to be able to grow more food, raise your own food, and you may have to teach others and help others to learn how to do this as well, because otherwise you may have a hungry horde on your doorstep demanding what you worked to save up for your family. So it would be highly beneficial for you to assist your neighbors and help out where you can. So if you're in a position where you can buy extra of what you need so that you can help those in need, then that is a really good thing. I am not a fan of I'm gonna hoard up as much supplies as I can and go out and hide in the woods and be a hermit with a stockpile of guns and ammo and shoot anybody who comes after my stuff. I have some strong beliefs about helping others. And maybe this is not a video to get into that, but the reason that I have as much, say, seeds for growing a garden as I do is because my plan, if there is a food shortage and if things do go wrong, I can help others in my neighborhood and show them how to grow things in their yards. I can help my neighbors with gardening and learning how. So let's get into the topic. Let's talk about seeds, because for me this is a really, really important topic. It's very important to me and I love growing things. If there's a food shortage and if you have to grow your own food, you're going to have seeds. You're going to have a way to do that. And you can't just go into the grocery store, somewhat, because with some things you can. But just buying some fresh produce and then planting the seeds isn't necessarily going to work. For one thing, if you buy a bag of baby carrots, there's no seed, guys. Some things are hybrids and are genetically modified and stuff, and they don't grow. Like say you buy a tomato and it's a hybrid and you think you're going to save the seeds and plant them the next year. You may get a tomato plant, but you may not get tomatoes. So I like to have heirloom seeds. That's very, very important to me. Now, where do I get those heirloom seeds? Let's discuss that. I have this big bag of goodies here. I love to shop at Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Catalog. Their website is www.rareseeds.com. This is not an advertisement for Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Catalog, but I may send them some business, so maybe they should pay me for this. But I don't believe like that, so they're good. I promote them because they're good and because they sell heirloom seeds, and I love their heirloom seeds, and I grow a lot of stuff in my garden from their heirloom seeds. And the great thing is that from their seeds, I can save seeds from the produce that I grow, and I can plant those seeds the following year. I right now have on my counter drying some seeds for a pepper called a Jimmy Nardello pepper. I got the seeds a couple years ago from my mom. She was like, you got to try these Jimmy Nardellos. And I'm like, yeah, great, awesome. They look like they're a hot pepper. They're longer, and they're bright red. And they have, but they're sweet. They're sweet. They look like hot pepper, but they're sweet. They're good. I have no complaints. I like them, and they're a little bit different than the traditional. I have some growing in the garden right now. But those seeds have not been on sale at Baker Creek because they have so many different varieties of things, and different varieties are available different times depending on where they're getting their seeds from. But there have been no Jimmy Nardellos, but no big deal because I just save the seeds from a couple of the peppers that I grow. Just lay them out on like a paper towel or a cloth, depending on what you have. For me, it is a cloth because I try to avoid creating waste as much as possible. So I have, let's just put it this way, a Ziploc baggie that I've been using for holding seeds. I've been using for a couple years. I try to create as little waste as possible. So drying on a cloth on my counter are seeds for the Jimmy Nardello, so that next year I can plant more Jimmy Nardellos, and then next year I will save more seeds, and on and on and on. So I always have Jimmy Nardellos, even though you can't buy the seeds anymore. So heirloom seeds are the way to go. My favorite company is Baker Creek. Now, there's a couple other, let's see if this, okay, here it is. And don't judge me, this is another carrot seed. Completely accident that I grabbed this one. This brand here, Botanical Interests. See, it says heirloom right there. You can get this brand at natural grocers, or in my area, we have a pet store called Teskey's. It has 2 locations in our area, but they have, it's heirloom, and they're usually organic. I don't see where it says organic, but doesn't matter. They're expensive. This package of seeds, not terrible though. It was $1.79. That's not bad. Some heirloom seed packets are going to be a lot more expensive than that. But this is another brand that I like, and it comes from natural grocers or Teskey's. Another brand that I've got, try to get something other than carrots to show you, because I have lots of carrot and parsnip seeds and beet seeds and radish seeds, and in this case cucumber. And this one says heirloom favorite for pickling. Lake Valley Organics is the brand. I also got this at Teskey's. I focus mostly on buying heirloom because of the fact that I want to be able to save the seeds. If you couldn't just go buy more seeds, no big deal if you know how to save the seeds from the previous year. So I have a lot of these. Now, there will be people who will say, what do you do if you can't afford to just go buy a whole bunch of heirloom seeds? I can help you out with that too. Okay, so one option, and I'll just quick and pull this out here. And this is just a quick example because I share seeds back and forth with my mom and sometimes my sisters. So, because they all grow things too, which is great. It is great when you have a family of people who like to grow things. So, like my sister got a bunch of seeds from me because my one sister was trying to garden for the first time ever. And so I gave her a bunch of seeds that she couldn't get elsewhere. She waited too long to buy seeds, and then there wasn't a lot of options, and she was wanting heirloom seeds. So, and I have a gazillion. I mean, this is all the seeds that I bought this year. As you can see, way more than I can use. But like I said, and then I've got seeds from years past. I'm trying to make sure that I have plenty, so we could literally till my entire yard if we had to and plant food everywhere. And I could literally plant gardens in my neighbors' yards too, in my neighborhood. So I am prepared to help others grow food also. This is a Walmart pill bottle. And my mom wrote this on here. Jet Black Hollyhock. And actually, it looks like my handwriting, but it's my mom's because my mom and I have similar handwriting. How weird is that? Anyway, when I was visiting her in Colorado, her hollyhocks were going to they had little seed pods on them, and I was like, those are the most gorgeous hollyhocks. I really want some of those. And she's like, well, they're going to seed, and I'm like, hey, can I have some seeds? So she took a pill bottle from my it was my stepdad's pill bottle. He was on a lot of medications. Got distracted there for a moment. But she has a ton of pill bottles, and she uses these pill bottles. She usually removes the label, but in this case, she just wrote on the label so that I would know what was in the bottle. So anyway, she reuses the pill bottles to hold seeds because she saves seeds from year to year in her garden. So she gave me seeds for jet black hollyhocks. So if you know people who grow things, that is a good resource right there, because people who like to grow things are always happy and thrilled to share their seeds. Like if someone said to me, hey, you know those Jimmy Nardello peppers you grow? Do you happen to have any seeds? Because I can't find them anywhere. I would be like, oh my God, yes, I have seeds. I love them. I will share them with you. And I would give them seeds. I would even start the little plants for them. Like I would start the little seedlings and give them seedlings if they wanted. But those of us who grow things, we are always happy to share what we grow. Another option, if you can't afford to just go out and buy a ton of heirloom seeds, because I know I spend a ton of money on heirloom seeds. It's a problem. It's real. Okay, so another option. This only works if you do it a specific way. And that way is, it has to be like the organic non-GMO, because some of the vegetables that you buy in the grocery store are hybrids. So you may not get an actual vegetable if you replant those seeds. Now, I buy a lot of organic stuff from natural grocers. Specifically, I have butternut squash seeds saved from the organic butternut squash. I know, it's a big jar. I'm going to add some more seeds. I've got another huge butternut squash on my counter. Here's the thing that I love about butternut squash. Butternut squash stores a really, really long time. So I'm planning on growing, if there's a food shortage, I'm growing a ton of squashes and root vegetables, because those you can put into a root cellar, into a cool, dark place that's fairly dry, and it'll store. Like you can store potatoes through the winter in your basement or your root cellar. You can store onions, you can store beets, you can store butternut squash. I had a butternut squash on my counter that was there like all summer, and I cut into it and it was perfectly good. Like there was nothing wrong with it. So butternut squash, I swear by squash. Like there are people who are like, ew, squash. Like my sister's like, ew, why would you eat that? That's so gross. I don't have the taste buds of a 5-year-old. I'm willing to try new things, and I am willing to eat butternut squash. It's pretty darn good, actually, depending on how you cook it. So I have the seeds from the butternut squash that I buy that is organic, because come spring, I'm going to plant me like 15 acres of butternut squash if I have to. That's the thing. I own my house and my yard. So I can just go out. I'm fortunate. I'm someone who can just till up the entire yard and turn it into a garden if I need to. And we're going to be buying 15 acres from my mother-in-law. and hopefully that will be coming up. Hopefully that's something we get done soon, but she's been on chemo and she can't travel because her immune system is kind of wrecked because of the chemo. So, but still, if there was a food shortage and we needed to, even though we haven't done the paperwork and officially bought the property from her, she would let us go out there and plant all the food we wanted. So, I mean, if if there is a food shortage, I'm going to be planting me 15 acres of butternut squash and potatoes and onions, and you get the picture. Apple seeds. I want to grow apple trees. So I've got some seeds from some organic apples that I bought at Natural Grocers. I think they're Brayburn. But I saved a few seeds because I'm going to start some apple trees this spring. Because I'm going to start the saplings, and then when we have property to plant them on, then I'm going to plant some apple trees. But I want them to be like ready to put in the ground. And I want to grow them myself instead of just buying. And my husband's like, you can just buy an apple tree. I want to grow it myself. I have a thing for growing things. Okay? So anyway, seeds are very important. The ability to grow and produce your own food is very important. Knowing how to preserve your food is very important. This is important because it can mean the difference between starving to death through the winter or surviving. If you have a basement full of root vegetables and squashes, then you're going to fare better than someone who didn't grow anything and has no way to replenish food and is dependent upon the grocery store. So it is very important that we be sort of self-sufficient and able to produce some of our own food. I have always seen this as very, very important. It is more important than, sure, I can see the benefits of stockpiling. I'm not going to argue against that. But I feel that it is even more important that you know how to replenish your stock without a grocery store there. Learn about what wild plants in your area can be eaten. This is also important. Know what plants can be used for food. Purslane. I got stinking purslane that grows everywhere. In a situation where food is a shortage, I can eat that purslane, dandelions. Do you know you can eat cattails? Have you ever tasted a cattail? They're kind of gross, but you can eat them. They'll sustain you. Anyway, thank you for watching my video. I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy, and have a wonderful, wonderful day, and get you some seeds one way or another, whether you have to get online at the Baker Creek website or go to Natural Grocers or your local farm supply store. For us, it's Farm and Fleet. But get you some seeds and be prepared. Buy some more, if you can't, buy some organic vegetables that have seeds in them, like butternut squash. Believe it or not, you could also save some potatoes, put them in like a cool place for the dry place for the winter. Potatoes store over the winter, so you can quarter up potatoes and stick them in the ground and grow potato plants the next year. So do what you can to be prepared to grow and preserve your own food. Get a dehydrator, get a pressure canner, whatever you need. Be prepared. So that's all the advice that I have. So have a wonderful, wonderful night, and I will talk to you guys probably next week.